Queen Mother. And she the one got to flip the 68 to the 89.
Okay. One last question, Chief. You on the road today. Let me see if I can get to it. Was Sister Janine's question. Let me see if I can find it. I saw Sister Janine, and then here it is. Please explain more about. Okay. She says, Rod, hey, she's asked this a couple times. Please explain more about how to get our money. How?
Most of us are not going to have to do nothing.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is everybody going to start getting government letters, and it's going to tell you who a particular ancestor was related to you.
What?
A big mama.
Okay.
When you get this letter, it's going to tell you either report to the, depending on the state and the systems in the state. In Michigan, it'll tell you report to the Small Business Administration, take this letter with you. When you take the letter with you, there's going to be somebody at the Small Business Administration whose job it is to show you your whole shit.
Wow.
But it might be another organization in a different state.
Okay. That's deep.
They know who we all is. They think you think they was taking the census just to be taking the census, and they wasn't using it for nothing. They've been watching every one of us. They know our bloodlines from when they erased us in the 1800s to now. They know who all of us are. All of the ones of us who was original to the land. They know who we are. They got our shit on reserve. And ain't nothing they can do with it but reserve it for us.
And then they're going to give it back.
They got to. Then who else they going to give it to? They can't give your shit to somebody else.
I love it.
But that's why they gave us all of this. Everything they used to oppress us has been used to liberate us. So the Social Security number that they was using to enslave us, now they finna use it to pay us.
Oh, I'm here for it. I love it.
All they got to do is revert the payment direction on the account. That's it. The money already there. The national debt is what they owe the tribes. You ever wonder who they owe that money to?
Us, the tribes? Oh.
Yeah, they've been squatting on the land. They had to keep track of what they owe us.
So when we say some people got to go back, they got to get off the land, what if they don't want to go back? And what if they don't know where they're supposed to go back to?
Well, those people will be special cases. The ones who don't want to go back.
Yeah.
It depends on how long they've been here. It depends on what their whole family line been doing since they've been here. You can't be a KKK nigga lyncher for 200 out of 400 years, and then at the end of that 200 years of nigga lynching, then the first generation of people that say, well, we ain't gonna need no more nigga lynching. It don't work like that. Okay. But if your family got a track record of trying to get from under it, because there's a lot of these people that we call Caucasians that's been trying to get from under it. And then some of the worst races was passed. To this day, in the KKK skinheads and Nazis right now, if they take DNA tests, half of them getting kicked out or killed. Because they thought they was good old-fashioned white boys. They didn't know they were mud puppies. But serious, they mix. Most of the people that we see whose family line can trace back 100 years over here, they got their drop of blood. We can't kick them out. Mm-hmm. The ones that's here, they might not want to go home, but it might be better for them, like Africans.
Yeah.
That's why I tell everybody, if you feel like you want to be part of Africa's liberation, there's no time better than right now to get your ass up and go help them fight for freedom.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be up in these tribes, and I'm not stopping till we win. So if you think that can't nobody be free to Africa free, you need to go over there because they liberating the F out of Africa right now.
They sure are.
And then you can't be talking about, I've been with you the whole time, brother, like you're going to do us when this shit over with. And no, we know you ain't been with us the whole time because you've been telling us we frauds. And we got the receipts. So you should have said that shit out your mouth. if you didn't know what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all of the ones, and then you got some that's agitators that's only there to be an agitator. They're not there to be right or wrong. They just there to be an agitator to make people have conversations about hard topics. They get a pass. Right? But the ones that's been the gaslighters, shade trees, backbiters, we know what it is.
Get on.
And it's a couple of them that I hope that they let me put a guillotine on them motherfuckers. I want to line them up. I want to hear the guillotines chop for 20 minutes straight. Chop, 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 chop. And I'm going to pull the first lever to start the concerto. I call it the guillotine concerto.
All right. So everybody bless the elder, man, because he be dropping some knowledge, some stuff that we've never heard before. But all right, here we go.
All right, let's zoom in on this map on the left side where you see Australia.
You say zoom in.
Yeah.
It only let me go so far. It ain't let me.
Okay, if you look right there, you see Indonesia.
Right.
All right, now Hawaii is on there, but you can't see it. It's to the left of Indonesia. I mean, to the right of Indonesia in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you look where these islands, if you pay attention, the islands have a pattern. That was a land bridge. There was a land bridge, and then it left it used to lead all the way up into the Southern Asia, Southeast Asia, right? Around by Japan and Korea and all that stuff. Now, if you go to the ocean picture, giant city under the ocean of Japan, it'll show you a city with giant steps. Because that was one of the casualties in the wars, in the Anunnaki wars. They sunk this city. There was one of Inky's major cities for the Anunnaki, especially the ones that was huge.
You know what that sounds like? You ever watched the movie Ewok Adventures? It came out in the 1970s, like 79, 78.
If I came out back then, I probably watched it, but I just probably haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, it shows you how they had the big steps like you was talking about, and they had these big Nephilim beasts, and they had the indigenous tribes, and they had little bears, they had the little Ewoks, but if you really look at the garments of the Ewoks, they were wearing indigenous attire. They had the feathers and everything, but they was using a lot of the trees that went up into it that basically pierced the firmament. They used the trees as a mechanism to, to take down those big giants like you were talking about in those wooded areas. So there's a lot of truth to that when it comes to the ontological artifacts.
Yeah. And they say that when this was the land bridge, that's when the people moved to Australia.
See, is that kind of with the Tasmanian people?
The Tasmania right next to Australia. And
the Tasmanian devil, and you know what's crazy, because the Tasmanian devil, he looks like an Ewok. That's how the Ewoks actually look.
But the Ewoks was the Wannies.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
And when they made it with the Twa, they lost their hair and became leprechauns and gnomes.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Look, you remember all of those people that Malachi showed us? The Flugerods, the Deros, the Tyros. They was all given a drop of blood to clean up the great debauchery. That's why they here. They came here as royal families from Enlil-controlled systems to offer a drop of their blood to clean up the genetic defect, because it wasn't going to be done in time with just us. Right? So now you see the ones that look like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
What they call Wookiees.
Yep.
When they made it with the humans, they still hairy. They just not as hairy as they was.
That's a fact. Hey, and a lot of them used to work with indigenous tribes. In fact, the Yaqui or the Yeti or what they call Bigfoot. Bigfoot was actually working in tandem with indigenous people. They used to,
They still do. Bigfoot, you can't catch. The only reason why it's hard to catch Bigfoot is because they can hear you coming by your thoughts before they can hear you coming by your movement.
That's
Humans' minds are loud to psychically sensitive beings that talk in telepathy. We won't shut the F up and they can't stand it. But most people let their mind just do stuff and they call it thinking, but it's not thinking. The mind is untamed. It's Sakuma, monkey man. Right? And that's what the whole story of the Sun Wukong in Hanuman's journey to the west and Sun Wukong, the 10 Buddhist scrolls. It's the same story.
That's a fact.
It's teaching the person how to tame the monkey man. When you find somebody who has tamed it, they will label him with a Naga's label. Once he's labeled with a Naga's label, your monkey man can't stop watching for the wisdom. They're using the primitive, native, natural instincts of a monkey. And a monkey can be riding on the elephant back and know where the snake is in the grass when the snake moves off the dirt road or the dirt path. The monkey can still sense where the snake is at because it's his biggest predator. So they don't have to physically see the monkey. I mean the snake. The monkey know where the snake is after he's seen him the first time. That's why they got a specific call that the monkey put out, and they call it the serpent call. They alert the other monkeys that it's a serpent in the area. It's a very distinct call. All monkey species have it, except humans. Unless we just forgot how to listen for it. Right? Because we all know somebody, when somebody comes along and they'll tell you, don't trust so-and-so, he's a snake.
Facts.
Hey, we don't trust him, and now we gonna watch him.
That's a fact.
Because we need to determine if he's a snake. What if the person that told you was the real snake and they lied on somebody? Only observation can distinguish the two in the human form. We got the traits. We mammalian, reptilian hybrids. So we can play both sides from the middle. As long as we don't take sides, we can see both sides.
That's a fact. And have you seen that new movie, Predator Badlands, yet?
Now, I haven't seen no new movies in a while. The last new movie I seen was Sinners, and I just seen that recently.
Oh yeah, I forgot you told me that. Well, in the movie, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get the gist of it. In the movie, it really shows you, the emulation of the Inky, Anu, and Enlil story. And they had Thor and they had Dek and Quay. And Dek, he was banished to a prison planet called Planet Jenna. And Jenna, when you get into ancient Hebrew, is the Valley of Hinnom, which is the realm of purification and judgment. So he was banished to a parasitical planet to look for the catalyst. But the catalyst in itself was basically the embodiment of dark matter energy. It was a corporeal intelligence that wasn't able to be manipulated unless it was in a cryogenic state. And within the movie, they show Ashtar Command, the Pleiadians. They show the Pleiadian light lock on how they use cryo. My bad. Hold on, my bad, Rod. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. We good.
Oh shit, my damn screensaver went on, but they were showing you how the catalyst in itself is a non-corporeal intelligence. It's an intelligence that can't be manipulated unless it's in a cryogenic state, and that's how she was able to defeat the catalyst within the movie. Is with what me and you call light code lockdown that's connected to the silver key.
So if you want to know how it works, if you can get that screen back up you just had.
Yeah, I got you. Hold on.
We can go into a little bit of the light lock because you're showing the imagery of the mathematical formula.
Mm-hmm. All right. Everybody put the rice bowls in the chat. Put the apes in the chat. All right, let me see. Where is she at? All right, here we go.
Okay, you see that top one on the left? The top one on the left.
Yeah, the Earth magnetic field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's the Van Allen belt.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you look at it, you see that there's three major circles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then you have circles in circles coming from the center of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Concentric circles to the center.
Mm-hmm.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay, now, pause that thought. The one right under it shows the torsion field that's being used to project these 3 points of convergence in the first one. Because it has to be done inside a torsion field.
Mm.
Right? Now, when you go to the bottom one where it looked like two cells separating,
mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like before you put it around the orb in the middle.
Okay.
When you put it around the orb in the middle, the light is going to flip it to the side. Those two circles is going to come out from the center, just like the top.
Mm.
Right? That's the infinity loop.
Wow.
To trap you in a time space continuum. You relying on time because of this layout. Okay, now the Earth has a natural positive and negative pole, or they call it North and South Pole. You need both poles to project their own individual. What's the word for that magnetic field called? It's a certain name for it. But once it's generated, now by feeding it the light from the sun, the radiation from the sun, it's now self-sustaining.
Mm.
Right? Now, the Earth and the sun is naturally, they gonna follow the laws of nature. At some point, the physical Earth went into a hibernation. Right? It goes into a hibernation to reset. We call this hibernation period the Ice Age, which was a nuclear winter.
Mm.
This Ice Age, then Earth emerges and sends a distress signal to the solar orb at the center in the form of a Schumann blast. The solar orb picks up the frequency, internalizes it, processes it, and sends the Earth back a response. You need to heat up from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're calling it global warming.
How about that? Because we agree. Because that's what happens when you have the vibration of dynamo speeding up the plasma vortexes on the planet. So I'm glad you brought up that. The reason I brought this up because it shows you from a neurological standpoint of how this corresponds with our neurological faculties when you're talking about the movie Predator Badlands, because the monad in itself, when you look at Earth's magnetic field, you got this dial right here, but the monad in itself represents Najor, and the two hands represents Enki and Enlil. So that's why I was saying, as far as like the movie, the callus was a representation of a form of quintessence that acted as a neuron fibers that brings both hemispheres of the brain together, which is Enki and Enlil. So that's what I was saying, like everything that corresponds like with consciousness has the ability to manipulate everything that's connected to the magnetic field of Earth, because the magnetic field of Earth is tethered connected to our consciousness to the point where you have solar flares spitting off at 90-degree angles from the galactic plane, which makes you an El or Elohim, because the El was nothing but in a 90-degree angle.
Okay, now I'm glad you was able to put it in them terms, because I've been telling people for the longest, stop reading Enki and Enlil as people. Start reading them as a frequency of energy.
Facts.
And people don't get it, but the reason why you read them as a frequency of energy instead of people, because the frequency will pop up in places you didn't expect it to, which shows their signature on our parts of our society. This is how I can tell you all of these squared off cities has been they've been militarized zones relayed out according to military control measures. That's enlil. The concentric circles, like those scalar waves coming off the earth, forming that torsion field, that's Inky will operate in that circle because the Inky energy is closer to the balance of nature from the masculine. Enlil's energy is the deviation from the laws of nature of the masculine. Right? So you got balanced masculine energy and erratic masculine energy, which is what we're looking at on the right. Right? Two people.
That's yep. Same story. I keep telling people that it's everything is the algorithm. They talking about DNA and neurological upgrades. That's why they had so much damn radiation, solar transmission that was coming to the planet, and everybody was getting headaches. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, pressure in itself makes diamonds. So those solar transmission that's hitting the mind, which is Noah, the arc, a flood of consciousness, is going to activate those apatites, those calcites, and those magnetites, and those dendrites. So, like I said, it's a part of the process, because it's one of those things where the year of 2026, which is the year of the fire horse, is going to be the precursor to the great separation between the lamb and the sheep. Well, I mean, the lamb and the goat. And the reason that is because it's a separation of consciousness, because the consciousness in itself, because, they even talk about in the CIA documents, the conscious energy grid. The conscious energy grid is going to manipulate, the electrical.
So what we call in the 100 monkey effect, right? And then it's called, as we move into the new full swing of the new era, that's the event horizon. Going through the black hole, then you had a point of no return. You can't go back now. You're too far into this game. Right? Now remember, we caught between political satire and Hollywood theater. DC and Hollywood, political satire is fake. The political satire is a play called Plato's Republic, recycled over and over from different types of political applications, from communism to socialism, and none of them don't work. They're not designed to work longer than like 250 years. That's why we keep seeing every 250 years the world powers change.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something. I'm glad you brought that up. I got to bring the slides back up. I'm glad you brought that up, because it show. I've been seeing that number 250 a lot. I've been seeing that a lot. All right. Hey, they said I don't look like you. My bad if I don't look like you. I tried my best.
It's close enough.
I try to do what I could.
That's how AI see me.
Okay. Yeah. All right, where's that 250 at? So they talk about it right here. It's got the birthday cake around it. Because, like I said, it tells a timeline. It's a story.
Well, the 1776 contract was a 200-year contract. But remember, 1812 gave them an extension to 2012. Right now, after 2012 is where the work starts to transition to the new government. So a couple things that they had to do that they did. They had to recognize that 400-year Bible contract. That's the white man's burden. What they call the law of discovery. The doctrine of discovery, the white man's burden. So they did the 400-year recognition in the Senate, the satire. Or Congress, whatever the hell, one of them, Washington, D.C., they passed a vote to recognize the 400-year captivity. Then they did a ceremony. Trump had the Bible upside down in front of a boarded up church. And Nancy Pelosi tore the Bible on the Senate floor, tore it in half, right, on the same day. Republicans and Democrats. So when they did that, that was the end of the Bible contract that was the sacrifice of the first blood of the righteous. Now, They also passed before they passed the UNDRIP on the United Nations floor, and then they passed the United States Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, which says pretty much the same thing in 2014, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then we had the ceremony to stake a totem pole in D.C. to reclaim the land from the Salvage Authority. The Salvage Authority was the Crown of England.
That's a fact.
Okay, now, once we did that, we reclaimed that 10 square miles as part of tribal territory. According to the Indigenous Rights Act of the United States and the United Nations, the indigenous people have a right to govern all indigenous land. Show me some that ain't.
Exactly.
So now they done recognized us, but it's only one way to secure recognition: oral tradition. Both documents talk about the oral tradition. And it's not a coincidence that the one is in the 13th chapter of the UNDRIP and the other one is in the 31st chapter of the UNDRIP. And then it's in something similar in the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Right? 13 is the Queen Mother Seal. 31 is the mirror flip. So on both sides.
Damn, I'm glad you brought that up because somebody in the chat, they said that July 4th of 2026 is 250 years. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So it was supposed to end, the contract was supposed to end it in 1976 at the bicentennial celebration. Because of the War 1812 and they got an extension. This is why in the Fall of America, Elijah Muhammad said the devil got an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody know what he was talking about. How the hell did the devil get an extension? Because we took their ass back to war. They telling us that the War 1812 was something other than an indigenous uprising. That's not, it was exactly an indigenous uprising. We rose up and decided to take the land back and broke the treaty. So it reset the treaty. Started them all over for 200 years. And this is why you had Martin Luther King doing nonviolent protests. The protest was not to overthrow the government, undermine the government. It was to wake the people up to the fact that we don't need the government.
Facts.
They're not here for us. They have nothing to do with us and they don't care about us.
So, you want to get into some questions from the chat?
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna put up some questions for you because I don't want to, overextend your time. I would like to be respectful of other people's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But me and you can overload people with information and they leave with a headache.
I know, right? Yeah, hit Ride, what I'm saying, with some questions, what I'm saying? Something, that's basically corresponding with the timeline that's taking place right now. So we're going to get into, let me see, we got some super chats. All right.
Somebody asked about the government buyback program for the old money. Oh. The banks have to collapse first.
Hold on, let me fix your cash app real quick. Yeah. There we go. So everybody, in the chat, show, the master teacher, show him some veneration.
Master tutor.
I heard that.
Now they got a master teacher. Ain't nobody put out that much information.
Yeah, but you don't want on the land right now. That's why I said you gotta be on. We gotta be on some book.
As long as we breathing, can't nobody hold the title master teacher.
You said what?
As long as he breathing, can't nobody hold his title. He own that shit.
Yeah, we gotta. You gotta.
I'm cool with being a tutor.
Okay.
Because all I'm doing is just rehashing what all of the teachers before me taught. Pointing out hey, did y'all notice this part of it? Let me show you what it means. Right? So that's all we doing. tutoring the public on what we already learned.
Yeah, but you add more pieces to the puzzle, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like it's more updated information because a lot of people don't even understand what's going on right now.
That's for the foundation that the ones before us laid.
Oh yeah, salute the new diamonds in the chat.
Thank you, Brittany.
Okay, so this is what it says from Cool and So 88. If they broke the treaty, why would we go back to honoring the treaty?
That's the only treaty that they ever said we broke.
Mm-hmm.
All the ones they broke, we still honored them, trying to get out of the 200-year oppression. It was a ceasefire, but they still was using cheat codes like assassinations and murder. They weren't supposed to do that. And we weren't supposed to do it to them. We were supposed to educate ourselves above the condition. If once you educate yourself above the condition can no longer hold you captive. And there was only a handful of us in the last, since Noble Drew Ali, that was really lifting the consciousness that wasn't in it for selfish gain. Everybody that was in it for selfish gain set us back. It was too many greedy SOBs in the game for us to really get somebody who didn't care to sell us out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like your money don't mean nothing to me when I know that the value of my birthright is way greater than any money you can offer me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care about your money. I appreciate, people who send their donations and everything, but I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this to unlock our birthright. And only by following the oral tradition of the greatest of the tribes, putting the information in the public domain so that as many tribes people as possible can access the information and utilize the information to wake each other up. Right? Then we're doing our part. There's so many people that they do stuff for money. So money is their motivator. And when money is your motivator, you can be bought. But when love is your motivator, it ain't enough money to buy the real love. You can only buy fake love with money.
That's a fact.
And that have a life limit to it. Ask any divorced athlete, NFL, NBA. Buying love, it's got a lifespan. When you buy love, it can only last for so long before it fall apart naturally because it's not true.
Shit, and that's why in 2025, the vast majority of relationships, they only last for 30 damn minutes. Because it's built on, material order. That's why I keep telling people, man, if you don't have a mental connection, because the mental connection in itself, that's how you combat the negative forces right there. Neo, he wasn't able to escape the matrix until he had a divine feminine energy on his team. So it has to be a balance of energies. So that's why I keep telling people, man, like, that's the only way, to beat the system in itself is, going through.
He got a kicker since you brought Neo and Trinity up. She a female. They named her Trinity. But they named Neo, which is an anagram for one, an anagram for eon, the age. So in order for a Trinity to be Trinity, she got to be the rightful heir.
Right.
And now, what does she have to do in order to get her throne? She have to find her champion. So Big Mama got to find her son that's doing the work, that got all of the skills. Nobody's using them. He just sitting on the bench. She going to draft him to her team, and he going to start in the game. When you go in there and you tell him what you know. Right? So Morpheus, which is the dual name, Morpheus is the god of dreams. Orpheus is the god of dreams. Morpheus is the god of transformation. Morpheus is Orpheus with an M on the front. Orpheus can't be Morpheus without Mama because he can't get the M.
That's a fact.
So he can't go from Orpheus the dreamer to Morpheus the mystic without Mama saying, "Okay, baby, it's your turn. Get out there and do your thing." Then you go from Orpheus to Morpheus.
because the M is actually a 3, which also represents Trinity.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a 3 on its side. But the 3 is the M on its side, actually.
Yeah. So
because the M has always been the symbol for the mother, which is also the Masonic symbol of the apron. And we know that men don't wear aprons.
That's a fact. And you know what's crazy?
We know all these cross-dressing priests.
Man. And you know what's crazy though? I'm glad you brought up that 3 because at 3 it corresponds with the mind in itself, which is connected to the neocortex. So that you know what I'm saying? Like they throw all them damn symbols in that movie for a reason.
Well, you know you got 3 parts to the brain. You got the reptilian brain, the old mammal brain, and the new mammal brain.
Yep.
The new mammal brain is called what? The neocortex.
Yep.
The new cortex. And neo is the one.
So that means you have to master your animalistic self.
Sacco Mao, your monkey man.
Hey, you know what's crazy? What if you was looking if the movie Matrix had an equation, it would actually be the pi equation, wouldn't it? 3.14, because 3 Trinity, 1 represents the life force that you have to resurrect it in order to tap into those what they call the Ark of the Covenant, the pituitary, hypothalamus, pineal gland, tachyon energy, and then the 4 represents that balance, that foundation. So, like I said, like all of it, you know, pretty much corresponds, but people just got to look at the numerical sequence and how it lines up with prophecy.
And to tie into what you just said, the 3.14 being pi, which is the man standing on his post, you can see the perimeters of the circle, right?
Oh, okay.
And the 3 sisters flip, because the point means flip, one man in order to make a 4-corner shuffle. That's so the genetic equation is 3x flip 1y to 4 x's. Somebody discovered an unknown variable. So the 4 represents the 4-corner shuffle, which is the genetic shuffle, the moving around of the DNA on the 4 corners of the X chromosome. The Y chromosome will fit in any one of them as an unknown variable until it's been activated as an X-Man.
And you know what's crazy? I'm glad you brought that up because that 4-corner shuffle can also correspond with the fire horse, which is the great purification symbol, which we're talking about the red horseman, because the 4 horsemen is a representation of the 4 basic elements, which corresponds with the 1. The 1 actually is a representation of the quintessence that collaborates with those 4 basic elements. So that's when you get the what we call the Christ energy. So I'm actually breaking it down, the numerical sequence of pi backwards, because it actually tells you the whole story. The 4 horsemen, the 1 that reaches the Trinity principle within the Christ energy within yourself, which is a form of mind science technology.
Okay, now let's take it to the streets and how it applies to the tribes.
Okay.
The 4 represents the Vice Lord Nation, whose original colors was black and gold. But when they alliance under the 5, they also wear red. Right? So it's the unification of the Peace Stone Nation and the Vice Lord Nation that comes across as the 4-corner shuffle or the 4-corner hustle.
Yeah.
Then you have the 4 horses of the apocalypse you brought up, right? Which also is a whole other thing because it started off with the white horse being where? You remember about 5 years ago where the white horse was at in photographs?
Beyonce.
Nope, not Beyonce. You remember Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle?
Yep.
Where did the white horse end up at? They just gave it to the Pope.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, now everybody keep calling the white horse the pale horse, and they're not the same horse.
Exactly.
The pale horse carries death, but the one on the white horse, went about conquering and to conquer. and was given to power to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then what did the black horse? Came with the scales in one hand and the food in the other hand, the wheats and whey. Right? So it's balance on one hand to feed the people on the other hand. Now the black horse comes back again at the end. It's only one of them that comes back at the end. Because while the other three horses, the red horse was given the power to start war and to wage war. That's Angel Bay, who just so happened to be in the hospital right now. Everybody's saying positive energy. Chief Malik Angel Bay, Jeff Ford, who passed out at ADX and they rushed him to the hospital. We don't know anything about his condition. We're waiting to hear from either the Bureau of Prisons or his family to give us any updates. So we don't have no updates on him. And we're concerned because he ain't supposed to even be there.
Mm-hmm.
Political prisoner. He was the red horse.
Mm.
The blue horse, Lucifer, is not in the book. The question is why?
Yeah, why is that? Why is that? What's the word on that?
And so that means that the blue horse is something that came about after the Bible concepts was developed.
Mm-hmm.
So it came about as a different concept. The blue horse, if you got a red horse, the blue horse is going to automatically be next to it. Mm-hmm. That's Big Tookie, the blue horse, right? But the blue horse was put on ice. They froze Big Tookie in Area 51, right? So this is where the color blue, ice, Cricket Man walking lightning, the Shocker, Wes Craven.
The 80s movie Shocker. My dad had me watching that shit. Man, my dad had me watching some crazy movies, bro.
Yeah. So the Shocker is, Big Tookie is the Shocker because everybody presumed that the government put him to death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he becomes the Shocker. The movie The Shocker was written by Wes Craven. Mm-hmm. It's a code there. Wes C. Raven. The Raven brings us to the Crow. Brandon Lee. Remember the Crow?
Yep.
Right. So the Raven is the actual bird that is calling the Crow in the movie The Crow. Mm-hmm. The Raven is the one who brings the message from the dead to the living, but also brings the one presumed to be dead back to life. Mm. So when you say the rest, you're talking about it's the T missing. The T represents the cross, the sacrifice one. Wow. So who is missing? Big Tookie, because they sacrificed him. But they didn't really sacrifice him. They treated him like the Christ, like it say in the book of Barnabas and in the Quran. They thought they had slain him, but surely they slain him not, for it was only made to appear as if he was slain. We need to forget about that part.
How you that's what I'm trying to figure out. How'd you find that out? Like, that's crazy.
It's in the codes. It's in the tribal codes. Real talkers.
Yeah, I understand that because everybody can't do that. Like, because I don't know what that is, because that's something you cannot find in a book. And that's one of the mechanisms that's missing out of, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the conscious community when they want to, you know, cross over to certain information to, you know, just to be that anchor in that glitch. Because a lot of people, they will look over stuff like this because it's not inside of textbooks and all this other stuff, and it's not coinciding with, you know, the grassroots of, you know, consciousness. So a lot of people, how you did that I don't know what that's like I said, that's some ninth dimensional shit right there. So
the Wes Craven, who froze Tookie, who gave the order?
I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when Tookie came to California, when Schwarzenegger came to California to be a bodybuilder, he had to get the rub from Tookie. Mm-hmm. So they had a weightlifting contest and the pose down. And Tookie's response was, this vanilla gorilla walked right up to me for a seat at the table. So he said, I don't need you now. but I'm gonna need you in the future. When I need you, you just gotta perform. Right? Nobody know about this agreement between them. Because you couldn't perform in anything dealing with iron in California in that era, and you don't have the rub from Big Tookie. He either gave you a rub or a left bump. A left bump was hostile. I mean, he punched you in the mouth. The rub mean that we had a friendly competition, and I acknowledge you now. Right? So, the reason we knew that Schwarzenegger was the one who put him on ice is because the next role after that Schwarzenegger got was Mr. Freeze on Batman.
Wow. And he played in Terminator 2, and Terminator, that's also, I think it begins in 2027, I believe.
Well, it goes back to 1984, if you remember. When he first meets Sarah Connor, he go back in time to 1984. Notice the year.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. Yo, hey, this is crazy. That's too many alignments, bro. I told you the answers is in the movies, man. I keep telling people that.
Okay, now somebody else was advocating for Big Tookie from the Red House, and they had to be flipped or tagged by Schwarzenegger. Mr. Freeze was smoking a cigar.
Yep.
Looking like a big blue Tookie. I mean, looking like a big blue Suge Knight sitting on his chair, the Death Row throne. The head at the face under the hood of Death Row Records is Big Tookie. The chief that woke up the Red House when he woke up the Blue House. So he carried a weight of both worlds on his shoulders. So now, if the Blood Nation realized they was a federally recognized tribe, and most of us don't know that the Blood Nation is a federally recognized tribe, and they got some interlopers masquerading as them on the Blood tribe land in Canada.
Hey, you be cracking them codes, bro. I got, that's where the codes be in the damn.
Okay, now, me and Elder did a show where we talked about West Coast tribes because we still use the epithet, right, that referred to what the tribe referred to the other tribe. Blood still called Crips crabs.
Yep.
If you find out the crabbing tribe from the area, you get the name of the actual tribe that was renamed Crips. The Crip was renamed because it's a community revolution in progress. Right? And they was the ones looking inland. The Bloods was the ones looking to the sea. Brothers looking out on darkness. What happens after sunset when the sun finally drop over the horizon of the ocean on the West Coast? It get extra dark. So now you got your coastal tribes who's supposed to be guarding from the seaside in the Red House, your red crab. And then you have your inland tribe that's supposed to be looking from inland at hostile tribes coming across the land. The reason why they was woke up was because of police brutality. The Panthers woke them up. They the ones injected the consciousness of resistance against a foreign occupying military force because we're supposed to be our own military. The government infiltrated all sets. We call them sets. They call them battalions. And then they turned them against each other. So now you got Marines fighting Rangers, Navy SEALs fighting paratroopers. And they're not supposed to be fighting each other. They're supposed to be fighting the enemy.
That's a fact.
But the enemy came across with the uniform systems that makes them look legitimate because they wear uniforms. Right? And then they put the code in the commercials. And they gave us the uniform commercial code. They trying to convince us the police are freeing.
Exactly.
And they keep killing us. And they don't tell you about the pale faces they kill like they tell you about the dark faces they kill. These people are foreign military. They don't care what your skin color is. They will blast your ass in the streets. Period. They foreign occupying force.
We're gonna get into this Big 13. He says, is there a connection between the blood moon of March 14th this year on Pi Day?
That's 3.14 blood moon. The blood moon is always representative of a menstrual moon, even though they be giving them other names like cherry moon, which is also symbolic of the yoni, breaking the virginity, breaking the cherry, right? Then they also got a couple other names. They give strawberry moon, which is when the woman's about to end her menstrual cycle and she's not bleeding as heavy and the red is lighter. All of it is tied back to the female. Mm-hmm. So 3.14 is pi and the moon is red on pi, right? So we're talking about a cherry pie, which is talking about an heir, right? Mm-hmm. We know that it's talking about an heir because when George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, that was that girl he raped. And they got the statue of George Washington and some lady dragging a little girl behind him. Yeah. Over there, one of them East Coast states, Virginia, DC, somewhere over there. But it's a whole statue showing you who the cherry tree was. Mm-hmm. But it's always two cherries on the tree. Mm-hmm. They come in pairs. Mm-hmm. That's red house lingo. Right? So we go back to the rabbit. The rabbit is also another symbol of an heir. But when you call a rabbit an heir, you call him a hare.
Facts. That's crazy.
Now, I'm finna give you one for the before we get close to the end to look up.
Okay.
In the symbolism in the design and layout of DC, there's a dog sniffing a rabbit.
Want me to pull that up now?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
DC dog sniff rabbit. It's right in the city layout. The dogs.
So. Oh, it says 33 and 1/3 of Masons learn what they. I mean, some people believe that they only have 3 degrees.
That's the blue house, 3 degrees. Yep. 32 degrees is the red house, Scottish Rite. The 3 degrees is inner apprentice, fellowcraft, master mason on the blue house. Mm-hmm. When you got higher degrees, you got to switch over to the red house. But the blue house ain't supposed to enter the red house unless you got a certain bloodline.
And that's where Donald Trump comes in. He playing both sides.
Yeah, because he's a Templar.
Damn, I had a slide in here about the Templars too. Man, something told me to put it in there because it coincides with the Baphomet. Because a lot of people don't understand where the inception of the Knights of Templars came from. A lot of them they came from Islamic background as far as like the veneration of Baphomet, or it comes from Baphomet, that's connected to the energy of the moon, what we call the sleep spell of Kingu. Because I think the 5 power structures is connected to the 5-pointed star that shows you the sigil system over Washington, D.C. The 5-pointed star, it represents the 5 power structures of the European Union.
I don't know, I think I might have it. Nope, that ain't it.
What was those of us whose mothers, Nana, favorite color of blue? I'm not sure what you mean by that one. Because I don't. What you think?
What about those of us whose mother's mother has a favorite color of blue? She's the daddy's girl. The blue girl, when they say a girl that's from the blue house, she's a daddy's girl. Red house is a mama's girl.
Wow. Let me see.
And I can't find this picture. I'll put that another way. Look at it.
Beta, do you think the powers that were casting hold on to the land? No, because I was talking about, as far as like you having a resurrection process of the mycelial network of nature, everything is getting activated. So I tell people all the time, our genetics is actually a microcosm of, what's taking place, politically, what's taking place neurologically, what's taking place on a geopolitical scale. So as far as like, the powers in itself, like what me and Rod talk about, the subjugation aspects of it, it goes into the silver key, which is the silver cord, which is the silver key in Freemasonry when you're talking about the keys of papacy, because that's the only way to unlock the liquid intelligence, which is the epigenetic memory, to unlock the Akashic records. So like I said, it's one of those things where the shadow work is going to be the catalyst to unlock the caps on the neurons in the brain to where you're able to pull information out from the subconscious mind. So a lot of people want their powers and shit like that, but you're not going to be able to tap into that energy unless you heal. They even show you in all the, the great majority of the superhero movies, they all go through that self-realization period, and then that's when they tap into their power.
I never had this hard return fan or something. And I know I got posted. I'm gonna find it and send it to you. You're gonna do an update.
Okay, I got you. Oh yeah, and now I not too long ago, it's probably like 2 videos ago, I was talking about Max B getting released from jail on 11/9, which is a mirror flip for 9/11. Now, only reason, this coincides with like Leviathan and the Dragon, because maybe about 2 months ago, they had a 7.2 earthquake at the Arctic Peninsula in the Drake Passage. In the Drake Passage, Drake, the rapper, he's actually really good friends with French Montana, who is actually, best friends with Max B. So if them two collab together, that's a ritual that's taking place at hand when you're talking about that Mountain Dew conspiracy, because the Mountain Dew conspiracy can, it shows you Liberty Chill, and it shows you the geomagnetic storm that's taking place on how the Statue of Liberty is underground and it's covered in ice and water. So like I said, Max B, he represents the wave, which is the form of a tsunami, and Drake is dropping an album called Iceman. So like I said, it's one of those things where I forgot to add the aspect of the dragon. They said that the reason why that they had an earthquake at the Drake Passage, because they said that the head of Leviathan is in the Arctic region, that's causing of what I call the El Nino non-weather, where you have the waters from the east collaborate with the waters from the west, which is a form of purification and judgment. So that's where you get into that Leviathan, because some people in the esoterics, they believe Leviathan is also the emulation of the black sun also.
The Leviathan force is also a military occupational force that have bases all around the world in what they call serpentine fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's called the Leviathan force, which is symbolized by the serpent wrapped around the egg. Remember that symbol?
Yeah.
Okay, now, Earth has what's called ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
Ley lines converge at what's called energy centers. Mm-hmm. We have always used the ley lines and the energy centers because we know that they go through cycles where this ley line might get the most energy for 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to build on this one for the next 1,000 years. After time that went by so much, we all over the place now because the ley lines have moved. Mm-hmm. But this energy current is called the dragon's path or the dragon's way.
Mm-hmm.
And it represents the movement of the Earth's energy around the planet, right? When we saw earlier the connected Pacific, right? Where all those islands converge, that's a dragon path. All the way from the tip of South America, coming up the west side of South America, going into Mexico on the west coast, up to California, Oregon, and Washington into Alaska, that's a dragon line.
Mm-hmm.
And that dragon line is marked by volcanoes. This is how they get the name dragon line, dragon path, dragon way. Because normally when the energy moves through them, it generates volcanic activity. Even if they don't always erupt, that we know that the energy now is activated on this particular ley line or pathway.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it come up, like the ring of fire in the northeast, right? When that dragon wakes up, it sets off that ring of fire all the way around the North Atlantic going into Europe, back down going into North Africa, right? So these are dragon paths, as we call them. We use the term dragon. Anything that represents mastery is a dragon, because you have to slay the dragon to master any topic. Right? So the one who's at the top seat, he is the dragon now. Right? He's the one speak with the fire of an open throat chakra and a synchronized root chakra. And if he really good, he have a full chakra activation from the root to the crown. And when he speaks with the dragon, it's more effective in waking more people up. Right? Those were your Nagas kings. When the culture changed, we went from being dragons to eagles and hawks. We went from being eagles and hawks to being elephants and lions. We had different things that represent mastery at different times. And the dragon came from the Nagas lines, who came from another energy signature tied to the Draco's constellation, where they actually was raising and trading, taming dragons. The ones that we call dinosaurs. The Inky bred dinosaurs for the Andromeda beings to hunt as part of a galactic treaty. And when they time ran up, what they do? Blew this motherfucker up all over. Nuclear winter, get rid of them. But we still got dinosaurs. But we don't call them dinosaurs no more. We don't call them dragons no more. Now we call them crocodilians.
Komodo dragon.
Yep. Yep. And then you got mini dragons. They got one that's actually spits some stuff like fire in South America. You know, but he only had long. So we ain't scared of him. He ain't big enough to burn the building down.
It's like a little bird. It fly. It's like a little bird entity. Like,
it's a lizard.
Yeah, but it was able to. I think it had like wings or something.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked at it in a long time to give you all of the details. But I do know that it's there, and it do spit fire or fiery secretions from his mouth. They burn.
Hey, how you talked about the Iberian lynx that popped up? Yeah, it popped up the same day where 3-Eye Atlas was right behind the sun that created the Hyperion. And the Hyperion is what was the precursor to all those geomagnetic, storms and everything that was taking place, as far as like, all these plasma vortexes opening up from the magnetosphere.
I was more taken back that it was an Iberian sphinx or lynx.
You said, excuse me?
I was more taken back that it was an Iberian lynx. The lynx is a North American cat.
Yeah, it was a white one that showed up the same day that the.
Where's the Iberian Peninsula at?
I'm not sure where they located it.
That's Spain.
Yeah, it was in Spain. Yes, it was in Spain.
And that's why I said the lynx is normally a North American cat.
Okay.
And I've been trying to have some kind of like, where is this going with this? But I know they call ghost animals when they born out with albinism like that. And some of them, it's so rare that when you see them, you know there's something spectacular going on spiritually. Like the white giraffes they had. The white buffalo.
Yeah, they say they say leucidic animals is also a representation of the end because it's the end of that biological entity's genetic format. So as far as like, you ever read the book? What is it called? Fuck, it's a Hebrew Israelite book, but it goes